as I watched Joel out there, and I realized that I want this so badly for him. I just hadn't, I guess, given it that much thought that like Joel, this is Joel's first time playing in a championship game as well. And so it's like this shit matters, and in some way him getting over any hump, even if it's not a hump that we are involved with, is just feels good and important. And so watching and rooting for Steph as he's doing the Steph stuff is just like, what a singular experience that is, man. Like, it's Steph Curry. How does he do it? It's incredible. I really felt, it made me feel like a little kid watching Steph. Me and Alyssa on the couch just like losing our minds, like as if we're Steph stands for the last 10 years. Like, it's just, guy's unbelievable. And it was sick to root for. I loved it. I had a blast.
Yeah, I still didn't care. But it would have been a bummer to lose because it's always a bummer for the U.S. team to lose in the Olympics. And it was reasonably fun to watch. I just never got my heart into it. I didn't, I couldn't just turn it on. Like, I guess it's hard to explain what this feels like, though. I think most people understand it. I felt more sort of like, I wasn't excited when they won, but I think I would have been more annoyed if they had lost, if that makes any sense. But it was nice to see Embiid sort of enjoying himself. The Embiid versus the French fans was one of my favorite things. Yeah. How he kept leaning into it. Obviously, the French fans hated him because he chose to play for the U.S. rather than France or Cameroon for that matter at the medal ceremony or whatever. Embiid getting booed and wanting more booze, and the rest of the team also joining in on wanting more booze.
While Drew was getting his medal, Embiid was
sucking.
Was doing his crotch job, which was very nice.
Yeah. And just real quick, as far as Steph goes, like, I think Steph is underrated historically. I generally, like, it's crazy, but would rank him ahead of LeBron in terms of basketball players I've watched that were stunning to me, that were. So I love Steph and I love watching Steph, and it is the most disheartening thing, I think, in pro sports. The most disheartening thing is when you can't stop a guy from hitting threes from a fan perspective and another team perspective, when the guy's just like fucking running around and is falling backwards and two guys are on him and is hitting threes because there's nothing you can do if the other team scores 3 points every time down the court. So it was fun to watch, but I still didn't care that much.
It's very nice and heartening to watch the best players in the world be on Embiid's side as like a wrestling villain.
Yeah.
Because obviously the crotch chops lean that way anyway, but like Embiid spurning France, which he should have done. He's never lived in France, and he's lived in America since he was a teenager. That's like half his life. The fact that he played for the U.S., and the games were in Paris, and he faces France in the gold medal games. Embiid losing that game would have been
bad,
tough for me to take.
Yeah, I get it.
And so the fact that they won it, obviously not an incredible Embiid game, had a nice little stretch there. Once they weren't playing Gobert, how many minutes did Gobert play?
I think 12.
Yeah, Gobert played 12, Embiid played 11. So they pretty much matched his minutes. Once it was like, okay, go defend Wemby on the perimeter. Obviously, Embiid can when he wants to. I mean, when he has to, you just prefer him to be around the basket. And when you have guys like AD and Bam who are better around the perimeter defensively, like, it just makes more sense to put them on there. So I didn't object to it too much. But seeing LeBron and Steph and Anthony Edwards and KD like be pumped for Embiid, and then even Drew, like everybody, all those guys just being like, yeah, bring it on, bring on the booze, and Embiid leaning into it like he always would as a wrestling villain, was just like, it was special shit, man. He's a gold medalist. He won a gold medal. That is the first time that any active Sixer has won a gold medal for the men's basketball team. Like, that's cool. We haven't had many good players.
Did Iguodala get traded right before he won one for US? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was Iguodala. Yeah. It was Drew. Like all guys that are like,
well, because I remember
10 years.
I just remember an Iguodala, Doug Collins meetup maybe at the Olympics, and I think it might have been right after they had traded him in the Bynum trade. I think that's maybe what had happened.
But yeah, I mean, it's just great. It was great. It was nice. It became like appointment viewing to me in a way that like I'm happy that the US team is not so much better than every other team. It makes for compelling television, and it's understandable because like it's different rules that these guys have played in more than the US team has. And it is difficult to manage, whether it's from a coaching perspective or from a self perspective, like manage egos, manage your role to know how to play in a different environment. Like I was very impressed by Devin Booker.
He was awesome.
Like competing like hell on defense, moving the ball. Like he was doing like a KCP impression. Like it was really cool to watch him go like, I know my role in this team, which is what he played at Kentucky for the most part. And I can play it. And I was surprised initially that I was like, why is he's really like has this big of a role in the team, and just watching him and seeing how he's like translated his game and goes like, I can scale it down a little bit was cool to see. It's always fun to watch Drew and him be that guy. I'm happy for Drew. Obviously his trade, Sixers trading him, like starting the process was special. I mean, it was just a really fun team to root for. They seemed to really have each other's backs. It was cool to like behind the three guys that have been the face of men's basketball for 15 years in LeBron, Durant, and Steph. Like it was special. And I was on the like historical level, it was special. And on the like, I'm happy Embiid gets to be a part of this and is included in it. Like from like me, if I don't have any kids, obviously, but like watching my kid at a playground being like, he's being included. That's so nice. That's so nice that they're including him here.
They're friends with him.
And that's Embiid. And I'm just like, I love the guy. I just want to see him happy. And he was happy last night. And that was cool.